Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Biz Talk, where people in business matter. My name is Bobby Reyes, and I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Of course, MJ Concepcion here at your service. Good evening, everyone.
And we are live today, courtesy of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Texas Greater Houston region, and our partner in this endeavor.
Yes, Roof Chamber, Radio Pinoy. Maraming salamat po. And because of the cooperation of these two organizations, we are here and
Mhm.
we are able to bring you the show, right, Bobby?
Yes, and the show is live on Facebook and YouTube. For those of you who are watching us live, you can leave comments either in the Facebook or the YouTube app, and we will be able to see it. And if you want us to respond, we will see them and we can respond to you in an interactive mode. And so, MJ, where
That's
are we
right.
also live? Not live, but where will we be on audio?
Yeah, well, if you miss the live show, you can listen to our show at, of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Listen Note. So don't worry if you miss this because you can listen to us after the show.
Yes, not only listen, but you
Yeah,
can watch the recorded version of the show also on
on
Facebook
YouTube.
and YouTube.
That
And
is correct.
so, MJ, I think we have a very interesting show today.
I know we have two gentlemen who are going to be sharing.
Life experiences.
That's right. And will give us lessons that we can learn from,
Well, we hope
right?
so,
But of
right?
course, let's talk about the speaker series last night.
Yes, we had our scheduled PACCTX speaker series, which is one of our signature events where we invite a community leader or an educator or a business professional to talk about topics of interest to members of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Texas. And so last night we had Dr. Sunny Zhang, who
Mhm.
actually spoke to us on what they need to know to invest in startups. And I think the
Wow, I
most
missed that. It would have been a
yes.
really good, yeah,
And
yeah, one for me
she
too.
actually said an interesting little definition because when you hear the word immigrant, what do you
Hmm.
think? You think it's somebody who's a permanent resident or has a green
Hmm.
card, right?
Hmm.
But what she said and actually made sense to me is anybody who is not native born in the United States is an immigrant.
Hmm.
Because if you were not born here, you are an immigrant, regardless of your immigration status. But
Hmm.
her point being majority of the high performing small businesses, startups, were actually founded by immigrants.
Oh, wow, that's good. So immigrants are a big part of the economy.
Yes, and so it was
That's
a
really
very
true.
since
Yeah.
she's also a professor at the University
Hmm.
of St. Thomas. That's why I found
Oh,
that the
wow. Yeah.
interaction was very much like a college classroom where it wasn't just one person talking. We were actually discussing back and forth.
Hmm.
If anybody in the audience wanted to ask a question, she was able to respond, and so it was actually nice.
Yeah.
For
So
the
I surely missed a lot then.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, but guess what? We actually showed it on Facebook Live. So if you go to our Facebook page, you will
Hmm.
see the recorded version of Facebook Live. So you can watch her presentation, and there's our flyer. Everything
Hmm.
you wanted to do about investing in startups, but don't know who, what, and how to ask. And the interesting thing is, she covered a lot more topics besides this topic.
That's good.
Yeah, we
Well,
we also talked about venture capitals.
mhm,
So it's very
that's
good.
very
And so
informative, huh?
yeah, we're working on a few more interesting topics for future, but
Hmm.
stay tuned. I guess is what everybody says until we finalize the plans. You will see the flyers, and if you go to our Facebook page, you will see it.
Yeah,
And
and we don't we have another upcoming
yes,
event
we
for
do.
our chamber?
Yes, what is it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the Bizmix,
Yes, it
right?
is.
Bizmix coming up on October 6th. And this is in cooperation with Asian Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, it is. And the thing to remember is if you're a member of our chamber, PACCTX Greater Houston Region, you are automatically a member of the Asian Chamber of Commerce because we have a
Hmm.
memorandum of understanding where we share memberships and we share projects, we share events. And so this is actually a good networking event. We've
Hmm.
developed a lot of lifelong friendships
Hmm.
and business connections through these kinds of mixers. And so
Hmm.
it's actually worth going to. So for members of either PACCTX or the
Asian
AC's
Chamber.
Asian Chamber,
Hmm.
yes, it's going to be $20. For non-members, it's $30, but that includes drinks and light bites is what they call it. It's there on the flyer that's shown on screen right now. And so it's going to be an interesting 2 hours. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Jerry's Grill. And so if you go to our website, you will see this flyer, and it does have all the details on how to register, because you do need to register so we would at least know how many people are showing.
All right. So save the date, October 6th.
Yes,
Okay.
we are going to be there.
All right. Okay. I think it's about time we welcome our first guest.
Yes, it's
Are we
somebody.
ready?
Yes, it's somebody that we know very well.
Of course, it's part of our board. I mean, board member of our chambers.
Yes, he is
so
a member of the board. But as with everybody else, we know we are we wear many different hats. I was trying to think of the proper
That's
metaphor. We wear many
correct.
different hats.
Oh yeah.
Like MJ and I are here today. We're wearing our broadcast hat. During the day, we do have our real jobs.
That's right.
in the
We
real
still
world.
do. We
Yeah, we
still
do.
do. But yeah, you're right. We are jack of all trades, you know.
Well, no, but
yeah.
no, we just they have different roles in
Ordinary
life.
people with other, talents
Different
and all that,
roles.
different roles. So, and our guests for tonight are really
Yes,
well experienced
and we have to be well behaved.
people. And yeah, we have to. We're gonna get reprimanded.
Hopefully
Okay,
not.
I'm joking. But anyway, we're gonna learn a lot from both of them. But first off, let's introduce Father Nelson Flores.
Hello,
Hello,
good,
good evening
hello,
po.
hello. Magandang
Welcome.
gabi. Good evening to both of you and to our watchers and listeners and everybody else. Magandang gabi.
Oh, yes,
Magandang gabi po.
and we are very happy to see you here, Father Nelson. And so, one of the first things, I guess, let's jump around, because normally we talk about your educational educational background and all this. But tell us, you are Father Nelson Flores. Tell us what church you belong to. Give us a little bit of background about that, because I understand that that's something that you're in the process of, shall we say, cultivating.
And I think you can give us a little bit of background of how you got into the ministry. Yeah.
That's a long story, but first of all, I am a product of a Roman Catholic school. From elementary to college, I went to University of Santo Tomas in Manila,
Mhm.
and I graduated in 1997, Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. I was a journalist for 20 years. I worked for the Philippine Daily Inquirer for 20 years. That's my first and only job in the Philippines. Well, not only, but that's my first job. And
Mhm.
then I had a stint with DZXL, an AM station, and then DZRJ. I
Mhm.
worked there for a total of, I think, 5 years. So I was also a broadcast journalist. And
Mhm.
then I finished my doctorate in Adamson University. I had got my degree as a doctor of law. And
Mhm.
then we went here in the States. We migrated. My wife and I migrated. And it was here that I was introduced first to the Episcopal Church. And but in context, you have to know that even before I graduated from college, I already have a calling to become a priest. But
Mhm.
I was engaged then with my wife now, so I
Mhm.
made the choice to choose the wife, my 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 fiancée then, who is my wife now, and that is the reason why I did not become a priest. Although I was already closely working with members of the Society of the Divine Word at that time, SBD, and we are
Mhm.
already doing ministry in Southern Tagalog, in Cavite, Quezon, Rizal. So those were my areas of responsibility at that time. And then, as I said, we migrated here, and I was introduced to the Episcopal Church. And after being introduced to the Episcopal Church, my calling to become a priest was rekindled because I
Mm-hmm.
was happy that priests are allowed to get married under the Episcopal Church.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to cut the long story short, sometime in the early 2010 or 2011, I got a scholarship from the Philippine Independent Church, Philippine Independent Catholic Church, so otherwise known as Aglipay
Mm-hmm.
Church. I took that scholarship, went home to the Philippines several times to finish my studies. And after graduation, I was ordained deacon in 2016, and I was ordained priest in 2021 under the
Mm-hmm.
Anglican Church. But now I'm again, uh, I'm working with the Filipino community in trying to establish the Santo Niño Episcopal community, which is the Filipino, well, let us say the Filipino arm or the Filipino wing of the Episcopal Church. So that's how I got involved in ministry and in the priesthood. But at the same time, I have a layman's job. I
Mm-hmm.
am a certified interpreter,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been an interpreter for 4 years now. And so I'm what you call a BIVOC. I'm a BIVOC priest, meaning a bivocational priest,
Mm-hmm.
someone who has a layman's job and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time
Mhm.
performing a job of an ordained minister. So I am a BIVOC. But hopefully I will be a full-fledged priest, maybe perhaps next year. So I
In the
will,
Episcopal Church.
hopefully, we will see.
Yes. And
Uh,
so
Yeah.
now tell us a little bit about your plans for the Santo Niño Episcopal Church.
Well, the Santo Niño Episcopal Church was the brainchild of Father Isaias Ginson, because he noticed that there are some, not all Filipinos going to the Roman Catholic Church are Roman Catholics. There are some who goes to the Roman Catholic Church because that is the only church available to them here. They don't know the Episcopal, they don't know the Methodist, they don't know the Baptist or the other sects or other denominations. Just like me, I came to know, although I have a vague idea of the Episcopal in Manila when I was in Manila, but I really don't know what the Episcopal Church, and it was only when I came here in the States that I learned about and came to know the Episcopal Church. So, same thing with other Filipinos. Just like during our event in our Fiesta Cosa, Texas, I met someone who is an Aglipay, but he goes to the Roman Catholic Church, and but he is Aglipay. But
Mm-hmm.
since there is no Aglipay church here, he goes to the Roman Catholic Church. So that's another thing.
Mhm.
So Father Ginson had an idea na why not talk with these people and let us see if we can build our own community. So that's when we decided to found the Santo Niño Episcopal Community. So we are trying to establish this community, and hopefully the people will. Although being a member of the community doesn't mean you'll be a member of the Episcopal Church. No, it's not. It's just a community. It's like a
Mhm.
fellowship with free Bible study, with free mass, if you may, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
free
and
and
it's
free fellowship too.
that's
Yes,
right.
free fellowship.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was quite a journey for you then, Father Nelson, huh? Yeah.
Yes, because I myself,
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised. I didn't even expect to become a priest, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my close friends are really surprised, and
Mm-hmm.
they keep on asking me what happened to you. So I don't know if that is something to be proud of or something to be
Well,
embarrassed
you
or
could look at it in a positive way.
well,
Yeah,
yes,
plus
yes.
plus there's a saying, I mean there's a verse in the Bible which says that whatever God has started in you, he will be faithful to complete it. So if you had that calling early on, God provides the opportunities and directs your path
Mhm.
as he wants you to be. So it's the same
Yep.
way in our life, in our spiritual lives. We have some callings, we have some like aspirations early on, that
Right.
God will still give you the chance to fulfill them, just like what we're doing, right,
Yeah,
Bobby?
and to follow
Because
the
it's
yeah, to follow the analogy earlier, we all wear
yeah,
different hats.
that's right.
Yes.
Because like you were a broadcast journalist, I tried to be a journalist and a broadcaster before I became a nurse,
Not me.
but I became a nurse. But God still gave me this opportunity to at least use or fulfill my dream of becoming a broadcaster. It may not be a paid job, but I love doing it. So, God just really provides all these opportunities, and He knows the desires of our hearts. So He gives those desires in His perfect timing.
Ang layo
That,
naman.
that I agree. That I
You're talking
agree.
about spiritual, and I
Yeah.
I could say that I am spiritually guided too
Yeah,
in
we
the
all. Yeah,
decisions.
well,
Yeah,
we
we
all
are
are.
all, and yet we have this divine, that guidance
Mm-hmm.
from a supreme being that we know that
Right.
will help us and give us the wisdom in everything that we do or think
Yep.
about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
And,
I agree.
and so
God never stopped talking with us.
Hmm.
It's just that we stopped listening.
I was going to say,
That's
you just
correct.
have to listen for it.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
a
and
problem.
Bobby had
We
the
stop.
opportunity to actually,
What did I do?
you have a second life, so you
Oh well,
actually had
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
But that's
that
for a
great
different show.
experience.
That's for
I
a
know.
different show.
Yeah,
But
yeah. If I may add, what happened to me is like, well, I don't want really to compare myself because but what happened to me is like what happened to Saint Paul. There
I was going
was,
to say it's all on the way to Damascus.
yes, there was a conversion in me on the way to the road to Damascus. So
Mhm.
from being a person who lives, well, I'm not really worldly, but because of my line of work, I'm really close to being worldly.
Your
So
previous line of work.
yes, my previous line of work when I was a journalist, and you know how is it in Manila when uh, when you are a journalist, you have a lot of influence to the
That is
point
right.
you
Yes.
think you are above the law, and
Right.
it
Mm-hmm.
happened to me. And the temptation of power, uh, everything you can think of, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have it at that time, and I lost all of those when I came here in the state.
Mm-hmm.
But see,
I
because
lost
God
Yeah,
was preparing you for something else.
that's right.
precisely,
That is
and
correct.
I'm being not knowing I'm being prepared for this way of life.
Well, there.
So
No,
The
but
road to God is not smooth. We all know that we get sidetracked. There's all kinds of
mhm,
temptations all around us, but as long as we have that relationship with God, I mean, He's always gonna bring us
right.
back. So yeah.
And so let's switch gears a little bit. Not many people know that Father Nelson is also a very accomplished historian, very well versed in Philippine history. Ayan, binuking na kita ha. But
nga,
but I have had long conversations with Father Nelson about Philippine history, and he has a different insight on what we were taught in school. Because obviously, textbooks are written, and we don't have the full picture in there. I
Mhm.
learned from Father Nelson how much the United States paid for the Philippines, for example. I never learned that in history books.
yes,
I can't remember anymore, but it's like a sack of potatoes or something.
yes. We were sold by Spain to the United States for $20 million, and at that time there are only 10 million Filipinos. So if you divide the 20 by 10, you get two. So it's like if every Filipino was sold for $2, which is the price of a sack of potato.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that
So that
conversation.
is why, yeah. So that is
So
That's
why,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, our Filipino, the members of the Aguinaldo government were so, what do you call this, aghast. They were so, they felt so bad that we are treated like being a sack of potato.
mhm.
Well, my love for history started when I was in grade two because I started reading Philippine history at that young age. And modesty aside, whenever there is a history test, I never review.
Wow.
All my tests are, stock knowledge, and I always pass it with flying colors. Unfortunately, it's not the same thing with mathematics.
Well, that's very interesting to know.
Yeah, but
But I think we have to
we
pause for
have to
now.
take a break,
Yeah,
and so we will go back to you, Father Nelson. After the break, we will have our next guest, and then we will bring both of you together for our, shall we say, our roundtable discussion.
that's right.
So stay
Thank
tuned.
you.
We'll have a quick break.
Hello to everyone from Roof Chamber Radio. I'm encouraging all of you to stay here, stay in this chamber. If you want to be inspired, you want to be encouraged, this is where it's at. And we're all going to need this, especially, in this new year that we're in. We don't know what's up for tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen next week or next month. But I believe that when you gather with people who believe in the power, the faithfulness, and the goodness of the Lord Jesus Christ, there is power in that in itself. So stay here. Stay in the Roof Chamber Radio. Be inspired, be encouraged, and let's all go through life, not on our own, and more than just with each other, but let's speak the faith, let's share the faith, let's live by faith, and let's walk by faith. God bless you all, everyone from Roof Chamber Radio.
And we are back.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. And
that
I think
was-
we're gonna have our that was very quick.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
yeah, we
20
always say,
minutes just
yeah, depending on the
passed.
topic, the time goes by
Yeah,
fast.
I
And
know.
but
Yeah.
remember what I said about wearing different hats. Father Nelson has worn many different hats, and like I
Mhm.
said, we all do. And the thing
Mhm.
is, it makes us better people.
That's
depending
right.
depending on
Because
what we are. So
all those experiences that we get from doing or assuming all these different kind of roles make us into
yeah, better
more
people.
well-rounded people and everything. I
Yep,
mean, it's
yep.
just
And
anyway. I think it's
so
time for our next
our
guest
next
because
guest,
we're
uh,
just killing time so
no, we're not.
quickly.
We're not. We're not. We're not. We're making the most of the time that we have.
Yes,
And so
yes.
our next guest is also a member of the Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Texas. He's actually one of our newer members. He's only been a member for a few months, but he has already made an impact. He's been very,
That's right.
he's
He's very
been,
supportive
yes,
and he
and
yeah.
helps us with a lot of things. And we'd like to introduce him now. And his name is Brother Jaylord De Palma.
Hello, good evening.
Hello. Good evening, Brother Jay.
Hello, Ading.
Magandang gabi, ading. Naimbag nga rabi.
Amen. Nambagarabi iyo amin na po.
So,
Diyos unay tagina. Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you
we can
for letting me in into your world.
Oh, okay.
Of
Well, you're
course,
always
yes.
welcome. Welcome. We are very happy you joined us today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us and thank you for becoming a member of PACC. You are surely an asset to our chamber. And so we're going to
It's an
start
honor and
with,
a privilege. Thank you.
yes, and we're going to start with you giving us a little bit of a background about yourself, what, where you
The-
came from, what degree did you finish?
Anything
That's
you
the
want to share in
hardest.
public?
Anything.
That's the
Anything
hardest
under the
question I
sun.
always answer because it's really hard to tell yourself about whatever who you are, whatever it is. But anyhow, I'm Jaylord Palma from Pasukin, Ilocos Norte. Um, Basically, going to school is the hardest thing for us. We didn't grow up like some people that really um, have something in their table all the time. But we thank God through the means of the hard work of our parents, we're able to go to college and we have the same university with Ate MJ. We
That's
came
right.
from Mariano Marcos State University, same College of Nursing,
Uh-huh.
and all those people around that she knows, I know them too.
Were you glad?
Um,
No, I'm
um,
older.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
older than him. I
yes.
was
I thought you were classmates.
uh, I took my master's in St. Paul University, Catholic University, and started my doctorate in nursing science. Then we came here to the States.
Mhm.
More so, I pioneered a lot of stuff during the time that nursing is booming in the Philippines. We have the nursing school in Abra, the first nursing school in Abra Valley Colleges, as
Mhm.
well as came home to Lawag to pioneer the School of Nursing in Divine Word College of Lawag.
Mhm.
And this school is still there, thank God.
Mhm. That's good.
And then we moved here in the States, start a family, and I always remember what the saying of the late Miles Monroe always say, like, mediocrity is living below your revealed potentials.
Mhm.
So I don't want to live in mediocrity, and that you have to live above your potentials, and that's what American Dream is all about. It opens up the freeway of and the highway of opportunity.
Mhm.
And with regards to those, we have, not just the profession that we have as a nurse. Me and my wife are both nurses and different field of specialization. Um, but the purpose that we have is still in our hearts. That's the reason why we started in the ministry.
Mhm.
We've been so active in the non-denominational church.
Mhm.
We are part of the International Victory Christian Church in Pearland, Texas, which we started 2006. Then God moved us out. We started the brand new church, which is the One Accord Fellowship.
Mhm.
And a few years ago, God brought me to the Chinatown district, which basically we started the welcome home ministry for the Chinese ministry.
Mhm.
So in that perspective, and it's all about the Lord, and it's our life. I always say that my daily life is a gift. It's really a gift because through poverty, my you know kwento ng aking nanay.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm the bonso in the family. I'm the youngest in the family. It's
Mhm.
through the hardships, she really did want me to be aborted.
Mhm.
And that's why I fought my life to come here, to be in this world.
Mhm.
And I know for sure God was there with me through all the days of my life. Um, I used to be not really a Catholic in Aglipayan Church in Pasuk in Locos Norte. My mom used to be so active, but God caught my attention. When God caught your attention, and that's the time you started to have a relationship with Him, and
Mhm.
caught His attention is like bringing you to the right purpose of your life, and that is to serve Him and to the best of your ability, and to exert more effort, and it's all about Him. It's not about us. That's why my name is Jaylord, because during those times my mom might not even get any, because my siblings have two names.
Mhm.
And in that perspective, it's just say like Jesus is Lord. So it's just put Jesus is Lord and make it as J Lord. They're like, oh wow. So it's like
Wow.
a hat, really a hat that's really have very meaningful, but it takes a lot of responsibility and accountability, because if your name has a Lord in it, it's like you need to be good, man. And
People are watching you. That's right. Well, but
they're gonna keep watching on
yeah,
you. They keep
yeah.
watching on your back. Whatever you do, whatever you say, it's everything
You
is recorded.
you have to
So all
behave.
those things,
Yes, yes. Mhm.
yes,
That's right.
and I think that's a little bit of me. Whatever. It's really hard. That's why I just pass. I just email my bio to Bobby, and I think that was it. I just copy paste from my
Yeah, but it's,
resume.
yeah, but it's better. It's actually
Yeah,
better to hear from you. And
that's
you
right.
mentioned you're also a nurse. You and your wife are nurses. So what kind of business do you run right now? I understand you have a
Um, yes, yes. We are home based meaning we do home health, and I do dialysis. She does infusion,
Mhm.
and we want to go far from that, because right now with the CMS
Guidelines.
regulations, guidelines. They wanted to put the hospital in the home setting. So we want to go to that level, and it's there's a lot of rough roads ahead of us, but God is guiding us through, because anything that we do, it benefits the kingdom of God. It's not us. It's all about the Lord. So if ever God wants us to, and looking forward to to expand our territory, it's all for him. It's gonna be benefited. So
Mm-hmm.
we're looking for having a hospice, gearing towards IV infusion and dialysis as well. Because I'm an employee of one of the biggest dialysis company, home dialysis company in America, and we wanted to do the same way. But it will be one step by step, because
Mm-hmm.
if you put them together, it's a lot of investment.
Yeah.
But we thank God we are in the right path, and that's our sideline. That's our part of. That's one of our hat, as we talked about a while ago.
Mhm.
Not just in the ministry side. We have family. Our children is still growing up, and we wanted to show them really how a Christian supposed to be. And right now, we have one college student, and the one you're looking at right now, where I have the toga in the background, is that's his. And it is a really symbolic for me why I have that toga behind me. And why you asked me a while ago is about, we don't stop learning. We don't stop, uh, uh, conveying the message of truth, the wisdom that we need to get every single day. And that's how it is. It's not an end. If you have a toga, that's not an end. There's always and always a thing that you need to learn.
Yeah, and that's true because God is not done with us yet,
Amen.
right? Yes. And of course, with all these roles, and you have your business, you're an employee of a dialysis center, you have the ministry and all this. I mean, how do you balance your life with all these
He doesn't
responsibilities
sleep.
and roles that you do? I mean, it's very interesting. Well, you're young, so you have all the energy and all
I'm
that.
getting old too. No,
Yeah.
it's
How do
it's
you
a matter of
balance it?
how, uh, going back to my roots, I used to, by 6 o'clock, I ring the bell in the church, and in the morning, I ring the bell in the afternoon, and try and cleaning the church in the morning, and I grew up with that kind of lifestyle,
Mhm.
and our daily life is it's really hard work. That's how I've learned from my parents, and I thank God for that, and I want to build that perspective as well. I always wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's it. I wake up
Wow.
at 3 o'clock in the
So, do
morning,
you
and
ever sleep?
I told you he doesn't
I
sleep.
still I have a good night rest. I thank God I always sleep beside my wife. That's it.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like, you of course perseverance, hard work, all those. And I know because of your ministry, it gives you more strength and that's why you're
Indeed,
able
indeed,
to do all these things that you want to do to glorify God. I think
indeed.
at the end of the
Yes.
day, you're doing all these things for His glory. So I quite relate to that. But yeah, it's hard work and perseverance. And wow, so how do you enjoy life?
Wow. Well,
Like
I enjoy
besides,
life.
no, I mean like
What
besides,
What do you do
what do
besides
you,
work?
yeah, what do you do for fun
Oh,
with?
I play basketball. I play
Okay, so
basketball. I have friends, not just visiting members of the church. We have fun. My daughter, I go to all their activities. My daughter is a gymnast,
yeah, I know.
and
I've met your daughter. Yeah.
my two kids are orchestra players, and I enjoy listening to them. By just that alone, it's really encouraged me. That's my joy. We have vacation time. Yes, we took some time. I love driving. I did a 10-day trip going to the East Coast,
Mhm.
and from one place to another. It's like we have energy to do that, and we love to see nature. My kids loves mountains, which
Mhm.
I grew up with. as I always tell them, I used to hike Mount Pulag, and second highest mountain in the Philippines. How
Wow.
I wish we're gonna do the same way with my kids, and that, we're planning to do that someday. I'm
You know,
waiting for them to
I
grow up more.
remember when I was a kid too. Like, in Batak, right? There's mountains, and then
Yes.
we would hike. We would go and pick up the lumboy. Is it lumboy, right?
What is lumboy? I don't know
It's
what
like
that
a
is.
grape. It's like a grape, and we would gather with friends, and we would go hike and
Oh,
walk into the mountains. I know it's like our
Uh,
childhood is just
yeah, but
Simple.
I don't know.
Life is
simple.
so simple.
Yes.
Live to the fullest. We don't have much of dreams, and whatsoever. Like, we don't have that much. How do I say that? Means what we wanted, like other people has or something like that.
Right.
We
Yeah.
don't have those kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was
And
very poor. Me too. I grew up very poor, like
I think
nothing,
we
no
simple,
all
TV.
we all
very
did.
We,
simple.
you
We
know
all
what? I
did.
remember too when I was in elementary school. After walking from school, we would stop by our neighbor and look through their window and watch TV. I'm not kidding. No TV, nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can relate. I grew up
Yeah.
in very poor. So when you grow up like that, you tend to aspire and strive hard
Hmm.
and pray hard that your children's life will not be the
Yeah, I
same.
know. I
Yeah.
mentioned in another show actually where my parents also came from poor families, and they made sure
Mm-hmm.
we remember where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were firmly grounded in
Mm-hmm.
our background, in our family background. So my family's from Nueva Ecija, and so
Mm-hmm.
both my parents are from Nueva Ecija. They made sure I remember, all my siblings remember where they came from, and where we were then when we were growing up is
Mm-hmm.
because of the hard work that my parents did. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
so at this point, though, I think we are going on a break,
Oh, we
and
have a
people, um, we'd like to encourage you to leave comments for
yeah.
us because we will be able to see them and respond. And we will read a few of the comments when we come back from break.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Eileen, and I invite you to watch Usapang After Record. We are live streamed via Facebook page and YouTube channel of Roof Chamber Radio Pinoy every Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. Pacific. That'll be Saturday in the Philippines at 10 in the morning. Every week ay magkikipagkwentuhan tayo sa ating featured guest about legal matters that could probably change your life. Magkita-kita tayo dito sa Usapan After Record.
All
And
right.
that was
Yeah.
Attorney Eileen Dizon, who is our region chair.
Mm-hmm.
And she also have a show. She has a show every Friday.
That's right.
And
So tune
so,
in and always,
yes.
yeah, watch her show, and you learn a lot from her show. So
So
anyway, we have a
comments.
couple of comments from our one of our Facebook viewers. She said, or he says, I've been to Mount Pulag. It's a 5-hour hike, but the view on top of the mountain was magnificent. Wow.
Did you say you climbed that?
No, not Mount Pulag.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. It
I was
was.
just talking about the small mountains in our barangay or
Oh,
barrio
okay,
in
but
the
it was It
Philippines.
was
It was
Jaylord who.
Jaylord
Okay,
that
he
climbed
climbed it.
that.
So we
Yes,
need to
not
ask him
me.
about it. When we bring him back, we have to ask him about it.
That's right.
Which makes so I climbed the Enchanted Rock in Fredericksburg about a couple of weeks ago. That took us what, an hour, and we were up there. So
Yeah,
that's a
we
5 hour
went
hike.
hiking one time in Austin, my kids and their friends, and oh my gosh, it was so hot, and I
Mhm.
almost passed out, I think, because it was so hot. Oh, wait. Anyways, hiking is a good exercise
Yes.
anyway. So,
Remember when I
yep.
challenged you to do the marathon?
I'm sorry, but that was like I got caught
Yeah, I
by
know.
you in surprise.
Hmm.
By surprise, sorry. I got caught by surprise, and I made a
But
promise,
we
but
never
that
did.
promise was broken. I'm
So
not conditioned to do a marathon.
no, we're
I
not.
have a
We're not.
long ways to go.
You need training. And
I
so,
know.
okay, I know we have our two guests waiting, and we'd like to bring them both back, Father Nelson and Brother Jay.
There.
Hello.
Hello
Hello.
there. Welcome back to both of you.
You know,
Well,
I never realized that you both are relate. You know, you both have ties to the Aglipai Church.
Oh
Oh,
yes, I have a background in Agripayan Church, and actually, my fraternity group, we were baptized during the Aglipayan's birthday, Father Agripai's birthday. So that's fun too.
yeah, I know too in Batak there's an Aglipay church, but we used to go to the Catholic church there. But yeah.
so the question is, when was that birthday?
September 1st.
Oh, okay, so he
Oh.
remembers.
Yeah, September 1st is yeah, the founder of the Agripayan Church. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are now back to the point where we'd like to discuss. So everybody knows we've been through over 2 years of this COVID-19 pandemic,
Mhm.
and we are now living in what you call the new normal. And so you have to agree with us when we say that our lives have been changed. We are
Indeed.
not living the same way we were over 2.5 years ago. If I remember
Mhm.
correctly, January of 2020 is when all of this started becoming news. And then we
Yeah.
started going to the lockdowns in January and no, not January,
Fe-
February and March of 2020.
yeah. Yeah.
And so we have all changed.
That's right.
And what we'd like to ask from both of you is what I guess in your specific instances, what changes have you made in balancing your work? Because I know you both work also, but then you also have a spiritual background that you also balance, and then you also have your personal life. So how did you manage to tackle on this new normal? And hopefully our viewers will learn from your experiences. And whoever wants to start first.
Well, let me start. I was lucky because during the height of the COVID pandemic, when we have a lockdown, uh, that's when I started working at home.
Mhm.
So I've been working at home for almost 3 years now. I do my job here in my laptop, and it's a good thing in a way because it saves me a lot of gas.
Mhm.
But it, it on the flip side, I consume a lot of electricity, and because the computer is on for the whole
Mhm.
day, and so that's when I spend this pandemic time. That's how I spend it. But another thing is I had time to read and to bond with my dog. I'm a dog lover. Yeah, so
General Haru.
that is General Haru. I
Oh
promoted
my
him
god,
to
he's so
yeah,
cute.
yeah. I promoted him 2 Christmases ago. So he used to be a private. Suddenly he
Now he's
became a
general.
yeah.
That's
Uh,
cute.
Haru had a sibling. Well, you know, that adopted sibling, Chika. She died last September because of cancer.
Oh. Mhm.
Cancer of the cervix.
Yeah.
So we had time to bond, and because I'm with my dogs whole day. My wife is working the whole day, and my daughter is in Dallas, so I'm basically alone at home. So I studied, and then once in a while, I got calls for house blessing, car blessing, dog blessing. So I did
Mhm.
that, and then until Brother Isaiah came back, and we started working in the church. And Bobby has been in the church with me
Hmm.
Mhm.
several times. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you again on this coming 15. Now, during this time, I decided, I was able to organize that ang Bagong Bayani ng Mamamayan. It's a new organization. It was recently founded. The goal of this organization is to help overseas Filipino workers, particularly those here in the States.
Mhm.
Because whether we like it or not, some of us here are just here to work. So their category is really an overseas Filipino worker. They are
Mhm.
sending back their earnings in the Philippines, and we are here to help them sort out the in and outs here in the United States. And since I have still contacts with people in Hong Kong and in the Middle East, we plan to expand the organization later. But in
Mm-hmm.
the meantime, we're consolidating, and we are trying to figure out how we are going to proceed with our job. And then basically, the organization is guided by our faith, our Christian faith. So
Mm-hmm.
we help using Christianity as the basis, foundation, or rational to help other people. And this is the logo of the Philippine Independent Catholic Church, at the church that I'm with in the.
And
Oh,
then
and you
All
have
right.
the
Usaping Bayan is my
Bayan.
column in Manila because I still write. I have a column in Hataw tabloid
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
newspaper. I have a column there. It comes out twice a week, and sometimes once a week. So this is the name of my column, Usaping Bayan, and I've been using Usaping Bayan for a long time. In fact, that is the title of my segment in an old television show here in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Headlines Usaping Bayan. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
So when are you bringing? So you're usaping bayan. You said it's in the newspaper right now. You write
Yes.
newspaper.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you used to have a vlog.
Yes. Beyond deadlines. I do have.
Oh, yeah. What happened to that book?
Well, because of my job, I lost time. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
able to do it anymore, and I feel bad because it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really growing. In fact, we already have some. We have participated in some conferences in Manila where our flags and banners are out there. But I will I will still continue with that plan.
Well, that's good. So, what
Yes.
about you, brother Jay? The same
Oh,
question.
oh
You
yes, it's
through the
challenging
pandemic.
times and challenging moments, and
Mm-hmm.
it's an earthquake that happened to the church. Actually, it's we've been talking about the pandemic the other day in church, the leaders, and we're almost close because people are not there. We don't know how to start. We don't know what to do. But we
Mm-hmm.
never close. We always we thank God for Facebook Live. We have live audiences on Facebook. We still continue doing the service the same way as we did pre-pandemic time,
Mm-hmm.
and we even established one church with one ministry in the Chinese group in Bel Air. It's like it's a way that God wanted us to do something because as the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And as you seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and He will give everything to you, right? So it's those are the things that challenge us during the pandemic. And as a nurse, the challenging part is the patients gonna welcome us in their houses because of the pandemic.
Right.
So it's a challenging moment also for companies like what we have.
Mm-hmm.
We need to follow protocols. We need to follow the guidelines of the CDC, and other than that, I got the COVID myself. Was exposed to
Same
one of
here.
the I exposed to one of our patients that travel in Mexico, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even just get by myself. Gave it to my wife. So we
Mm-hmm.
even have a 14-day honeymoon, which is not supposed to honeymoon quarantine in our own bedroom.
Well,
I
you're
thank
supposed
God.
to share.
Yeah, it's we stayed there. At first at first I don't have any respiratory symptoms. That
Mm-hmm.
day that I felt I cannot even walk, I got pain everywhere in my body, especially in the lower part of my extremities. I can't walk until it goes up. I got problems in my stomach, and I started to have some chest pain. And that's the
Mhm.
first time I went to the ER. First time. The time that the COVID hit so bad, and the numbers are growing. And yes, I went to the hospital, and they check everything. Everything it's fine. The CT scans result it's all good. And like the doctor says, maybe we just check for COVID. So the
Yeah.
following day, which is Sunday, that's the first time didn't even go to church because I said I can come because I think I have something. So to cut the story short, it's a very challenging. It did.
Mhm.
After 14 days, we get negative, but the residual symptoms,
Effects, yes.
it's really really bad, especially if you're working. And they even thinking about the patients might even because they came to know that you become positive now you're negative. They need to see the result as well that you're really free from it. It's really very challenging, and with all those kind of stuff, we thank God we never lose hope. We never lose our prayers. Um, we still get connected with our Bible study. We have Zoom meetings, Zoom Bible study, and we take use of the technology that we have. We
Mhm.
didn't
Yes.
we didn't stop. The COVID didn't stop us what to do. Actually, if you look at it right now, it's like the new normal as you're talking about,
Mhm.
what we're doing before during the pandemic, we might lose some members of churches, not just us, all every churches, and especially when they stop, they don't want members to go to their home to their own building, in the churches themselves. They stopped, and we did lose a lot of families. Not only losing them as members, we have members that lost their life as well with
Mhm.
regards to the
Yeah.
COVID. And those are the most challenging part of us as ministers, that
Mhm.
we're sending somebody else, we're doing funerals. It does really hard. It strike me one way or the other.
Mhm.
It's like this is the part of the pandemic, but the way it is like they are old. They are in the 80s, and it's time for them to go with the Lord. And the only thing there was we wasn't there when they're gone, because the pandemic, uh, you cannot even visit them in their houses. So
That's
those
right.
are those are those are those are the challenging times that they only invite you now that during their funerals. So what you're gonna talk about it? It's
Yeah,
and
it's
they're so
Yeah, and
close to you, and those are the things that hit me during the pandemic. Not only me myself got the COVID, it changes our life. Live the life to the fullest and enjoy every moment. Life is too short. So I remember a saying that I encouraged to one of my friends in college, which is a drug addict. But this one really changed his life. I said, make your day as if it is your last.
mhm.
Make your day as if it is your last. And and arguably he did argue with me with that saying, but that saying make an impact to his life, that he became a born again believer like me.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
So
it's just that's very true because
yeah.
it's like never in our lifetime we could have imagined
No, it's
that we
just.
would go through this pandemic. But as you have said, both of you, I mean, we have learned to adapt to the changes brought that was brought about by the
Mhm.
pandemic. And now with continued guidance and from God, I mean, we're still
Yep.
here. And because
it
we too
is.
had
Yeah, we
the
we
COVID. I was
yeah.
the first one that got it in the family, and it was during the early on where when it was very scary, when you were scared because people's lives were being lost, and
Mhm.
just thinking that you have it, it's like there was this
It-
stigma that
Not only that, you were in
yeah,
fear that you were going to get it
yes, I
because there was
know.
no vaccine at the time.
Yeah, so I we went through all that, but anyway, we have few comments that
Yeah,
we
we
would,
have a comment from
yeah.
Roland Castor saying, "Thank you for nurses who took care of my homebound parents during the pandemic." And yeah, the frontline
Mm-hmm.
nurses, the doctors, we salute you because even though you knew it was dangerous, you still perform your duties. You just showed up. And again, people of God, like the two of you,
Mm-hmm.
you came to the
Mm-hmm.
patients who needed your help. You are frontline workers as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so Jay, I wanted to know. So you mentioned that it affected your nursing business. So are you recovered by now?
Oh, it's actually the business is started during the pandemic.
Oh, it
So
did.
it's a way that you can recreate something out of it.
Okay,
You
good.
have to take the opportunity, because the opportunity now is home base.
Hmm.
Yes.
So that's the one that give us or geared us towards this business, because and basically we are all evangelists. So not you're not just bringing the care to somebody else, you even give bringing
Share
God, His
His
kingdom
word.
to their houses to pray for
That's
them, and try to and give the best way possible that by the faith, the hope that we have, and able them to to feel that confident again that somebody's taking care of them. I've seen a lot of patients as well that nobody even go to their houses. It's like you're the only one 3 times a week that can visit them and can dine with them, or sometimes they will bring some food for them, and they really acknowledges those. And because a lot if you know when the time that the all the stores are closed, everything is you cannot access a lot of things. The only access that they have is us.
Hmm.
So whatever we can bring is that's the way it is. And we see the opportunity. That's plainly what God has brought about to us, and that the vision that we wanted to cater for homebound patients. And we thank God for that. And that's the product of pandemic.
Yeah.
So in
Yes.
the post-pandemic era, so it's we thank God for the situation. We thank God for the COVID. There's something that happened there that we can make it now as a springboard of success. There's a
So
lot
you
of
saw
things that
this.
happened during the pandemic, relationship wise. That's the time that you have more time with your family, have time with the kids. You see what they do
Mhm.
when the schools opens. We let them go. The school we let them go because one time when I came home, I saw my daughter watching YouTube, and during the time that it's school time, and I asked, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm done with my work." "Oh, really? So you have time to watch now?" So
Yeah.
something like you have to start conveying the message and having more time with your children. I think that's one of the product of pandemic. That's one of the product of COVID. It's relationship back
Mhm.
to the home, to the houses,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It
we
it
are
changed.
we are the one is spearhead those kind of stuff. And that's how I see the positive side of the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw the silver lining because
Mm-hmm. That's
we
right.
all realize now that the pandemic was life changing,
It was.
and
Indeed.
while we've seen a lot of the negative aspects of it, like you said, there are some positive aspects of what the pandemic did for us,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'd like to think that we should always look at the positive and see how we can improve ourselves because of the conditions that we are in. And we have one more question that came up, and I don't know if this is a question for Father Nelson, but what is the effect of the pandemic on attendees in your church? Have attendees adopted online church services like confessions online and sending social media emoticons during service? And that's from Orly Dizon.
Well, yes, the pandemic has affected church attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, for several weeks, there were no service, but then they developed the online service. So the
Mm-hmm.
priest will hold the service by himself, and it will be televised by, through the internet, or online, like Zoom or Facebook Live. So that's what they did. And until the time that people started coming back to the churches.
Yeah, I the same thing with our church,
Yeah, I
but
think it's with all the
yeah.
churches too. That's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when
everybody.
people. I
Yeah.
think I think, and I know we're a little past our time, but I think it's an important discussion. I think what happened was, since churches were closed effectively because of the lockdown, people didn't realize what they were missing, and so once the churches opened again, they've went back and appreciated it even more. And so
Yeah,
I'd
and
like, yeah, we'd like
actually,
it.
through, I mean, even with the online church, it actually gave an opportunity for a lot of different churches to reach out to wider horizons,
especially
like
for the homebound.
international audience. Because like even our
Yes,
church, I go to New Hope Church, and there were like viewers from all over the world.
yes.
So
Even us, even at my church, it's
yes,
worldwide. We have audience in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Philippines. Just like
yes.
it is an opportunity, as I said, and
Yeah,
we
so
thank God for that.
the pandemic has caused, of course, turmoils and
It
other
is.
stuff,
But
but
we
Yes.
also
also
have to
brought
see,
about some positive
right.
stuff and advancements. Even the way healthcare is now being delivered,
Yeah.
systems have evolved because of the pandemic.
Right.
So
And so
anyway,
this hour has flown by.
I know.
But
Yeah.
if I could ask the two of you, we will post your email addresses. If
Mhm,
people want to reach out to you after the show, we
Yes,
will post
please.
it once we post a recorded video.
mhm.
But
Yes,
thank you
please.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. This has been a very enlightening discussion.
that's true.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
We're
it
blessed. We are
yeah, we
blessed. Our
are.
viewers are
Yeah.
blessed because of your presence. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And more power to all the things that both of you do, all your hats. Make
Mhm.
sure you wear them all the time because you never know when somebody's gonna need that hat.
Yep.
Yes.
Amen.
Pagpalain
That's
kayo
right.
ng Panginoon. Pagpalain kayo.
Kayo din
Pagpalain
po.
tayong lahat ng Panginoon.
Thank
God
you
bless
so
Okay.
you
much.
all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so MJ, we're at the end of another show.
I know that went by so
I
fast.
know, but
Oh,
hey, we always have
it's
fun.
because we're having more and
Right.
more fun every time. So
Right.
it's
And
like
it
we
it it
don't even notice the time.
I know. But anyways, see us again in about a couple of weeks
Mhm.
because the show is every second and fourth Thursday of the month. To see the link, just follow us on our Facebook page, PACCTX Greater Houston Region. Again, my name is Bobby Reyes. Good night.
And my name is MJ Concepcion. Good night and see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.